I want those pants so badly.
Actually, John Daly was passed out behind the Hooters in Clearwater. Travis, you want to start this thing, or you got something for him, or I don't know what the hell we're doing, but we'll have fun. Here we go.
I think to use our time wisely, we'd probably jump right into the audience, don't you think? Since they're the
Like
big
physically,
fans.
literally, just...
Yes! Woo!
DJ has been at Fan Fest, so it's not like it'd be the first time.
That's quite true.
What would you like to know about Keith Urban?
Hey, and please don't be shy. We don't have much time. If you got a question, let's throw it at him. Not literally. All right, buddy, stand up and throw it.
Do you like the fish?
Not particularly. My dad does, and I'll go with him occasionally. Yeah, he likes it.
When's your cologne coming out?
I'm sorry?
When's your cologne coming out?
Later in the year.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
It's called Stank Purdy. Not really, but
I cannot. You really got a cologne coming?
Yeah.
What's it called? That's awesome.
yeah, it's called Phoenix, and we'll be telling everybody more about it when it comes out.
What about samples in the back? Can you hook a brother up?
I'll get you, try to treat you right.
Hey, before we get to another question real quick, I have to say something to Keith real quick. I was fortunate many years ago, not many years ago, back maybe in 2001, Keith and I got to go out and tour for an entire summer with Brooks and Dunn, Montgomery Gentry, and some people. And it was truly one of the best summers that I ever spent in my life. But I just wanted Keith to know that I have in my back pocket several photographs of Keith in a baby pool and nothing but a G-string. You can have them for $100 grand, or I'm going to the press. No, I'm just kidding. That was a lot of fun. 50. All right, you got to do it. You got to do it. Anybody else? Come on.
I've been told to ask from the fan club, are you going to do a Christmas album ever?
At some point, I'd like to do it. Yeah, yeah, I would love to do it. So yeah, that's for sure. Yes.
What's your favorite basketball team?
Do what?
What's your favorite basketball team?
Basketball.
That's a great question. I don't have a favorite basketball team. Gosh, I really can't.
Just say
rattle
Miami
such
Heat.
a-
That's as close.
Miami Heat. Yes.
I sold you on
It's
that.
like a half booze, half yays. It's always a challenging question.
Thank God you didn't say Boston.
All right, sweetie, real quick, right there.
It's a tough room.
Yeah. Go ahead, stand up.
How often do you visit Florida with your family?
How often do I visit
Florida.
Florida with my family? Well, it's been a long time. I think maybe the last time we toured down here, probably a few years ago.
Or how about in your off time? Are there
Any
places
vacation?
that you go? Because it's not like you can just go everywhere. You're famous, she's famous.
Yeah.
You have to find unique places to hide.
Yes.
And you probably don't want to divulge those.
Yes.
But I got to say, though, I saw Keith a few months ago in Whole Foods, I think,
Yeah.
in Green Hills in Nashville, and it's he and Nicole both were in there, and it's is it more peaceful back home in Nashville? I mean, because here again, you and Nicole were just out, you were
Yeah.
buying some groceries. It wasn't a mob scene. It was just a
Oh
normal
no,
day.
we live normal. I mean, and it's not usually, people are usually cool. It's just sort of paparazzi and stuff like that. That's more of a challenge for us.
Is it tougher in Australia when y'all go there?
Yeah.
I've heard that it's just pandemonium.
One of the
over
worst
there.
in the world, definitely.
Really?
Yeah, it's like the Wild Wild West out there. It's crazy. It's crazy.
All right, somebody else? Come on.
What do you like to do when you're not performing?
Gosh, I always get asked that question, and I don't have a specific answer other than just living life. I mean, hanging out with my family. We go to the movies a lot. We go to eat. We take Sonny out to play, and we take her to a play group every weekend, and we have some play dates at our house with. Like Dirk Bentley's kids will come over, Brad Paisley's kids will come over, and a whole bunch of the neighborhood kids, and everybody's swimming in the pool.
Which kid misbehaves the most?
Brad's all
Brad.
right.
Yeah, that's trouble. He's already pulling practical jokes during the whole thing, right?
Yeah. Now Brad got the song right. It's just like him.
Just like him, absolutely.
Nicole sings. Have you guys ever thought of doing anything together, collaborating in any way?
Not really. I think we just love to. It's a delicate balance for us because we're both obviously in the public eye, but we also have a normal marriage, and we try to keep that as normal as we can
Has
too.
she tried to lure you into films?
Definitely not.
No, seriously, would you ever Would you ever consider?
It's funny because on one hand, I always think my first thought about it is that isn't it funny how we and I've been guilty of it myself. Just think of acting as like, yeah, I'm gonna do that for a little while, like anybody can do it. Yeah, there's no talent involved.
Right.
It's just something you just decide you're gonna do one day.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna be a major league baseball player. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll try that for a while. Right? So I think on one hand, first of all, it's not my gift is acting, and it's brutal. It's really hard work.
It's
I
tough.
mean, yeah, and particularly because you don't have a lot of say over your creativity. That's the thing that I found really. Like in my world, I get to write a song, go and record it the way I want. I get to put a tour on the way I want it. I get to see my creative vision all the way through. Whereas somebody like that will spend all day on a set, shooting amazing scenes, and then you see the film and you go, what happened to them? Because they use different scenes and they cut them in strange ways, and before you know it's not the movie you thought you were making, so that's challenging.
I think you can pull it off, don't you, girls?
Yes.
We have one way in the back that's been trying. I saw you.
I want to know what your honeydew list is like.
You're asking the wrong guy. My wife could tell you that list. All the usual things.
I guess I would just like to say on behalf of everybody here, probably with Travis too, Happy Father's Day.
Thank you very much. To everybody here, the dads.
And how with the young one now? I guess I can ask this for everybody. How has that changed your life? I mean, there's some history there now. Then that little baby pops out, and it all gets put in perspective. Doesn't it?
Well, I found out now what the kiddie pool's actually for.
We'll talk about that.
It's not for me and Eddie and Troy anymore.
But it will change your whole perspective on life.
Beautifully so. I mean, just a sense of purpose, and anything that makes life less about me is a good thing. And I do much better when I'm more about other people.
Right.
And my family's done that beautifully. Yeah.
In your last album, which song actually had some meaning to you?
Well, I hope it's not my last album.
No, I meant
Which one?
like,
What? Sorry.
Your last album that you did.
Yes.
What actual song had meaning to you?
Which song had the most personal meaning?
Yeah.
Oh God. Well, they all did for different reasons. I mean, really.
Pick one of your kids that you love the most for the last one.
That'll get you in trouble.
They all do. I mean, but even the song like "Without You," which I didn't even write. For me, the meaning of recording a song like that is, pretty apparent. It was amazing to find a song that was so captured my life perfectly that I didn't write.
What's funny is I wrote that down as one of the questions because when I heard it, I just thought there was no way that you didn't write. I figured you got with Monty or whatever, and
Right.
you just wrote your history. And then to find out that you didn't actually write that, I don't know if anybody could have pinned one or how you could have said no when you heard it, honestly.
And I'll tell you another interesting tidbit about that song. It's written by two guys called Dave Pahanish and Joe West. They also wrote American Ride for Toby
Yeah,
Keith.
yeah.
They wrote So Do You Believe Me Now?
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy Wayne.
Absolutely.
In Without You, Dave, who's one of the writers, had just met his wife-to-be. She was the inspiration for the song. She was living in another state, so it was the line about how two souls could be so far apart and find each other. That was about that. And he has a line in there about, up until you came along, no one ever heard my song, now it's climbing with a bullet. The song, So Do You Believe Me Now, Jimmy Wayne had just recorded, and it was just starting to go up the charts. And so when you hear that line in that song, that's the song that they're talking about. It's amazing. I just
don't know
found that out
I've ever-
recently.
that nobody could have written a better song for you and your family.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Go ahead.
I just had a question. Were you able to get your instruments restored that were damaged in the national?
Yeah, I was, thank you. Most of them, almost all of them got salvaged, and I was able to rebuild all the electrics, all the acoustic instruments were toast. But the electrics, most of the electrics, I got them all fixed and brought back to life. Some of them sound, pretty good. Some of them not so good. A couple of them sound better. So it's just, they needed to be baptized in the Cumberland. Don't we all?
You know, I've said this for years, and we've talked about it before, and I know there's a major production that's going to go on out there tonight, and it's bigger than it's ever been. But for me personally, I think Keith Urban is completely at his best and most at peace with an acoustic guitar. I mean, I've saw that, you know, you sitting under an old shade tree when we're out on tour for years, you know, and just playing and get lost in that acoustic guitar, and I think that's some of the most special times when I saw you at your best, just with an acoustic
Thank you,
guitar.
Chris. Thank
Will
you.
that happen tonight? Will you do any acoustic stuff?
We don't have the shady tree, but
I've got about $3,200 left. I'll buy you that tree.
we will definitely do a couple of acoustic songs like that tonight. And I did have a great time on that tour. Cletus was talking earlier about the first Brooks and Dunn tour. The first, not the first tour, but the first Neon Circus
Yes,
tour.
absolutely.
Was it 01?
So one.
2001. And I went on first. Actually, you technically.
I was the opening act. Keith closed for me.
And then Montgomery Gentry went on.
God bless
and then Toby Keith.
Yeah.
And then the other guys.
Yeah, Brooks and Dunn, who went on to do pretty well. You know, it's really
Pretty
funny,
good.
out of all that tour, you know, of course, Keith went on to headline, Toby went on to headline. I'm a damn disc jockey now, so.
Headlining disc jockey.
Headlining disc jockey, well, kind of, but that was a lot of fun.
It was
One of the best summers.
I'm told we have time for one more question.
Okay.
Choose wisely. You were first, I guess. Go ahead.
Great question for you. If you asked thousands of people who they'd want to probably have lunch with, they would say you. But being as famous as you are, who would you choose if you had that opportunity?
If I could have lunch with anybody,
Yeah.
other than my wife.
I don't know.
Such a romantic Cletus.
We have no chance, Travis.
Yeah, that's a trick. You gotta answer your wife.
That is a good question, isn't it? I mean, I'm sure I would answer that question differently every day. Dead or alive, or
Sure.
Either way.
Either way.
Gosh, Joseph Campbell. Nobody has a clue, but anyway, that's who I'd have lunch with.
Buddy from high school?
No, he's a sort of mythology expert, I guess, is the mythologist, is what he is, and I find it quite fascinating. Mythology.
Way over my head. Does that mean we're done?
Yeah, I think when it gets to questions we can't answer, that's a good wrap.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that I think everybody needs to seriously know in this room. Most artists don't take time to do stuff like this, and especially when they get to the level of Keith. So how about an enormous
it's great to be back in Florida too. I know we've been unable to get down here in the last couple of tours. Why? I have no idea. But I don't do the routing, but I'm just damn glad we're here this time. So.